I'm Brian Jodas, 42, Hello Kitty, and this is the F3 Circle of Trust. From the F3 Nation Podcast Studios.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
This is the COT Podcast, connecting the packs of F3 Nation through fitness, fellowship, and faith.
Andrew Maggio, 35, Wirebiter.
Mike Kirikos, 35, Saganaki.
Michael Barrett, 40, Rep Sleepy.
Peter Ranky, 63, Bambi.
COT Podcast starts right now.
Shut up and sit down.
Back once again for another episode of the Circle of Trust show. What's up, F3 Nation? Your boy Hello Kitty checking in solo on this mission today. But don't worry, got some high impact men waiting in the wings to join me to talk about all the things we're seeing happening in and around F3 Nation. It's great to be with you. And it is showtime, Rubio. Good to have you with us as well. Roll Bar in the house. What's up, my brother? Good to see you checking in from Omaha. Listen, this is what we do, right? We gather up weekly. This is sort of our circle of trust where we can talk about things that are happening through fitness, fellowship, and faith, all the good stuff going on in our AOs and your AOs and AOs across the world as this thing continues to grow. It has been a cool week here, man. A new accomplishment crank this week. If you remember, just a few weeks ago, my usual co-host who joins me regularly but's got a little mammon getting in the way, which, priorities, Pito. Priorities, right? Support your family, do the Circle of Trust show. What are we really talking about here? Anywho, if you remember a few weeks ago, he was wrapping up, in the midst of wrapping up a 72-hour fast, was a little loopy on these very airwaves. And in fact, we called him out on it. Shenanigans ensued. It was hilarious. I just finished my first 72-hour fast Wednesday night, Sunday night to Wednesday night. Quite an experience. So got to do that. Had multiple guys in the region that settled up alongside each other to be able to do it, which was cool. And some lessons learned, no like major breakthroughs, major lessons learned this. One, I'm talking about myself. We allow ourselves to eat way too much. I allow myself to eat way too much, right? We don't have to consume the level with which we do. You can be hungry and you can be in some hunger pangs, and you can still get a ton done and really be focused on what you're trying to do and not let that ultimate food item, move you from the next thing to the other. Definitely some clarity. You assumed you'd be zapped because you're not eating very much, but man, with electrolytes and all that kind of stuff, well, you get kind of locked in on what you're doing. Yeah, do something hard. And then in those moments of those pangs, right? Or in those moments of, man, I'm hungry, I should be eating. Why don't you just take a second to kind of remove yourself from the center of the world and focus in on those things that should be in the middle of that concentrica, right? Pour your attention and focus. If even in 15 minutes, just thought, prayer, meditation, you can do that as well. So good lessons learned there. Will we do 72 hours again? Yeah, maybe. But I think we are going to start onboarding the first Monday of every month, a 36-hour fast. And then look, you can roll into that intermittent fasting a lot easier as you go. So that's what my week has looked like, and grateful for that you guys are making this part of your week with us. What's up, O'Donk? Checking in from the soil. Southern Illinois in the house. Man, I love Southern Illinois. Effingham, man, salt of the earth people down that way. We are going to be joined by the Nantan of this very F3 Nation of ours, Frank Dark Helmet Schwartz, in a matter of moments. Before we do that, though, let's thank some of those amazing show sponsors who help bring the COT your way. And, of course, our great friends at Mud Gear, and more things on the horizon from the great folks at Mud Gear. It's an F3 guy that started this company. You guys probably know that. Shout out to Malcolm. But they've given the F3 COT watchers a special discount code at mudgear.com. Use the code COT. Save 15% off on all their great gear. And if you go to the F3 Gear Store, they've got some incredible Father's Day sales going. Maybe you pass that along to the M. Maybe you pass that along to the 2.0s. Dad's Day right around the corner. I've been wanting a new seat shield, little elbow there. They got some great deals going right now. So go to either mudgear.com, use our code, or go check out the gear store, see what they have for you as well. And the fine folks at Momentous, all the supplements health and wellness needs, they've got you covered. I will tell you this much. Keeping creatine in, calorie-free, keeping creatine in the mix, I think absolutely helped me through that 72-hour fast as well. Go to livemomentous.com. Code there is Brian J. Hospital name, Brian J, to save a little bit at Live Momentous. And some great stuff there. All right, we're going to hear from iJob, who's got some great info he's going to drop on you guys. Bardman's checking in downrange. And we're going to talk to Cherry Limeade. Jason Meigershagen. Totally screwed his name up. He's got a new book out today. We'll talk about that in block 2. But before that, let's bring in the man himself. None other than my brother from another mother, my Brahma from another mama. You know him as Dark Hill. Listen, Helmet, check this out. I literally created it a week ago. So I spent a lot of time in the mobile studios, driving from here to there, from thang to thang, of course. Listen to a lot of ESPN radio, ESPN radio. I know it's not something you would probably listen to. You like sports, but you're not into sports. We get it. Fine. It's fine. You wouldn't listen to a lot of ESPN radio, though, right? Wouldn't make a lot of sense in your day.
I don't know that I knew there was such a thing. So
and there is.
There you go.
And there are these two guys that do an afternoon show, Freddie and Harry. They're freaking hilarious, and they're great. So I called in. Right? I've been on ESPN radio like 8 times in the last year. No joke. I have a knack for getting through. And I said, "What's up, my Brahma from some other mamas?" And they loved it. So I'm going with that. That's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Yeah,
that's right. Let's say hi to Tyler Cook. What's up, F3 Hutchison? Like the 36-hour fast to start the month off, right? First Monday, you go Sunday night dinner, Tuesday lunch. Perfect.
It's interesting, Kitty. This is and for guys who know, then you know. But if you don't know, then I'll just tell you. But one of the practices of my faith tradition is that we fast on a monthly basis, and it's the first Sunday of every month. You do a 24-hour fast. We do no food, no water.
Okay, got
so nothing
24
straight hours. Yep,
which is a lot more manageable than most would probably think.
It's not nearly as hard as you think, especially once you kind of get used to it.
Yeah. It would take a little getting used to it, right? Headaches, a little bit of that on the front end without the water component, but
probably so. It's been years and years and years.
Just stay busy.
So, and what I often say is, if you find yourself hungry, thirsty, that sort of thing, that's your body's reminder to, like you were saying, to focus, to meditate, to take again, faith tradition. So, to take the Lord in prayer, whatever it is you might be fasting for. So we fast for a purpose. And the other practice that goes along with that, kind of hand in hand, is we take the money that we theoretically would have spent on food.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we donate it to the local congregation.
Or donate it. Yeah. I dig
and so then when, our we don't call them pastors, we call them bishops. When our bishop, says, hey, Ma Bell over here has needs her lights.
Ma Bell's a he, where I come from.
Okay, fair. I should
my neck of the woods.
Let me be more clear. Schmidlap's mom, is that better?
There you go. Schmidlap from Fort Chester.
Schmidlap's mom.
So you've got that. You've got those resources,
and that money has sat there. Yeah,
I like
everyone's donated. So there's this big reserve of cash to help the poor, and whether they're members of our congregation or not. Sometimes but yeah, that's the practice, and it's something that I've dreamt about. Instituting across the world. It's like, man, if we did that as a populace, right?
Well, people would be in a lot better physical shape. That's for damn sure.
You'd be in a lot better physical shape, and think of the reserves that you would have to take care of the poor.
Oh my gosh!
By all of us just making one little, just a micro sacrifice when you get right down to it. One day.
But when you think about, like, if I once a month cut out, I was going to say $10 for lunch. It ain't that anymore.
I don't know where you're going.
But if you cut out that $20 for lunch, and that, or even if you're eating at home and your portion of the meal with the family is $8 or whatever, still that on a monthly basis, that can do some real good.
Well, the way we look at it is we go, what would it take to feed our family of 5?
Yeah.
For 2 meals, if we went to a nice restaurant, if we're giving this money for God, give of our best.
Yeah.
So what would it take to feed us for 2 meals if we went to a nice place, right?
$200.
I'm not saying how much it is.
Right. But I'm just,
I would say that's probably about right. That's exactly the number. And right. And you go, okay, now I'm going to donate that to the use of people.
I like that.
So it's a good practice. And to your point, has some incredible health benefit that comes along with it as well.
No doubt. Good stuff. We already said hi to Tyler. Good to see you, bro. How about Safari the Beast? Always checking in. International show. Kenya in the house.
It's,
love that.
What are you going to do?
Jalesko.
I believe it's
Jalisco?
Jalisco.
Jalisco.
I'm making that up. I have no idea if that's
Well,
what it
I
is.
mean, if anybody's going to know you, what's up, man? How about this question from the Rubio Method? What's the best Father's Day gift you've received? Frank?
Oh, the best Father's Day's gift that I've ever received is the gift of loving my children.
Yes, that's it. Just being in their presence for the entire day.
It's enough for me.
And I
That's
got
all
some
I
sweet
need.
mugs.
That's feasing. Yeah, I like that. I'm a words of affirmation.
We have a tendency. I get these,
There you go.
right? So we get the
There you
homemade,
go.
right?
Yeah.
Cards. I mean, come on, bro.
So if you're
Come on, bro.
listening, Pax, it's a homemade card with pictures of the
It's a
kids.
homemade card with
That's
pictures
on
of
there.
my kids. Get
Yeah.
it for.
Yeah, he
for
doesn't
your
have pictures of my kids. That'd be weird.
You can use our Shutterfly account, and you can send
Yeah.
pictures of my family to.
To your kid. Great. The login is Brian Jodis. The
Yes.
password.
You know what? We actually have a great idea for a Father's Day gift, but we're going to get to that in the second block when we talk to
Very
Cherry
good.
Lyman, because he's got a great new book about being a dad.
yes, he
My
does
brother
have a
was, what is, listen, I can report things at the regional level are humming along.
Good.
So, all right. talk to me
Carpex
about what's
is what
going
I
on.
like to think of as the F3 barometer.
You know, I here's what I will say. Carpex did the hardest thing Carpex ever had to do in the last 2 years, which is actually do that thing that we've seen everybody else do, which was starfish out
Yeah.
and let the other regions do their thing. And man, it was not the easiest.
You mean live the
decision.
mission? It's not
Yeah,
easy.
live the
Yeah.
mission. But anyways, yeah.
not easy.
So what's happening, my bro? How you been, man? Good to see you. Good to hear you.
Well, I appreciate that. I love being heard. Love being here with you. And naturally, I love when Rapido is here. However, in his absence, we'll take a moment of silence.
That's right.
Thank you. All right,
Thank
that's
you.
good. That's
Yeah, I
it.
appreciate everything.
he's not worth any more.
I
than
haven't,
that.
did you put your head down? I put my head down.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
We'll check the tape later. So what's happening around the nation and kind of where are we headed? And I'll just go ahead and tell you, here's a couple of quick high-level updates for you.
Okay. Love it.
I'm going to be putting a little video out probably in the next week or so, probably going to hit the old the F3 newsletter with Italian Job. Probably going to get that out there here pretty soon and just kind of laying a little bit of the next 43-ish. You know, it might even be like the next like 21 and a half feet. It's probably not a full 43.
Well, you can't get to 43 without paving
you gotta
some
get-
of those
yeah,
first
exactly,
initial
right.
feet, quite frankly.
But we had a really great F3 board meeting
Nice.
last week and had some really good discussion around strategy and different things with kind of where the nation is headed. And I can report with some glee or some happiness anyway that the board loves where we're headed. The board doesn't function like a traditional corporate board.
Yeah.
It really is kind of more of an advisory. I know, right?
Good.
It actually functions. It doesn't. They're not there to stymie progress.
Yeah,
They're there
yeah,
to,
yeah.
no, but they, it's good to kind of get a, when the SLT is meeting and stuff, and it all sounds good in our heads, right? And so sometimes it's good, to have kind of that advisory capacity from guys that aren't in it all day, every day, and that sort of thing. So they're very pleased with the direction we're taking. The fact that we have taken what was kind of the leadership group that had kind of expanded out. We've kind of really whittled this down to about a third of the guys that were doing it before. They love the direction that we're headed with some of the things as far as leadership development is concerned. They're excited. They saw a little preview of the new website that's going to be coming out next month. An entire overhaul, Kitty, of the website, brand new look, brand new feel, brand new functionality, but also on the back end of that, there are CRM capabilities and newsletter capabilities and stuff that are actually, not only will it make it nice because it's all in one kind of one ecosystem, if you will, but also it's going to be cool because it's going to cut us some of our expenses as well. And we're always looking for ways to cut expenses so that we don't have to keep coming back to the well and saying, "Hey, we need
makes a lot of sense,
more," right?
Yeah,
so some really good stuff along with that. Other things that are kind of on the horizon that I think guys should get excited about is the focus that we are going to have. We're going to finish this year of sort of how we've got it with like Grow Rucks and things like that. But we've got some new focus, some things we're going to introduce for next year that I think are really going to be exciting for guys because basically if it does not plant a new flag, right? If it does not train a leader how to train another leader, if it is not focused on how to unlock a man's potential within himself, we are completely eliminating almost everything outside of that.
And I think
so
that comes with some time, right? That comes with just some time and trying things and doing things and even doing things successfully.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then still say, you know what? How does this really align with plant grown source small workout groups for men for the invigoration male community leadership?
Yeah.
Come back to it. Come back to it. Come back to it. Come
Yeah.
back to it.
Yeah.
Come back to it.
And it's one of those things like what Slaughter was able to clean up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it with love, but the mess that Dredd had made. No, I'm just kidding. No, but
Damn it, Dredd.
We shifted. I sat in the
Dude,
room. And
you're
it
talking
seemed like a
about
great
something.
idea.
You're talking about something that's birthed out of an incredible, amazing mission, and in 10 years reaches across the country and parts of the globe. Like you're going to come with amazing success, and then things you just learn along the way. There's no shame in figuring out what you got to do to navigate next.
Dedicated toward the end of how do we grow this thing? How do we make it bigger? And I think what we realized is what we were doing was like, we're making it bigger in a certain way, but it's not necessarily so focused on the mission. Like we kind of drew back and said, instead of growing it this way and making, because you got to support, if you start growing it in a certain way, then you got to support it with infrastructure. So what if we dial back this kind of growth and seek to have this kind of growth over here, and that way we can dial back the resources that are necessary and that sort of thing, and then we can kind of get guys to be more empowered on their ends to do it. So anyway, two things that you need to be aware of. We can get deep on all that kind of stuff, and we will, but a couple things to be aware of. One, little video coming out here soon. Two, we don't have the exact date of it yet, but there is going to be another State of the Nation that's going to hit another live broadcast. We're gonna have that out beginning of July. So start thinking about your watch parties now, men. A new State of the Nation coming out in July, and that is going to go into great detail about all of these things. So got a lot of guys have been asking me, they're like, when are we going to know? I feel like you're teasing us. You feel like you're teasing us. I'm teasing you 100%. Yes,
right.
That's exactly what I am doing. So the tease will be over in July. We should have a lot of the things, the big rocks in place. And so
nice.
I will tell you this. I have not been this energized and this excited about what we've been doing in a little while. And it's not because we were doing bad stuff or we weren't doing the right things or anything like that. It was just that we kind of stood back and it's almost like a new awakening, like we're like, oh, this new direction I think is going to make all the difference for individual men in our regions going forward.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time to be in F3. Are we in a little bit of flux right now? Yes, we are. 100%.
Yeah, but you know what that means at home?
Movement.
All right, so what are guys in their region supposed to do?
Doing
what you do, bro. That's right. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah,
right?
Keep doing what you're doing. 100%.
And and keep the home fires lit.
That's right.
And really the big thing is when you hear the new things, the new visions, and the new, if you're into support, then by golly, jump in and support. And find ways to support. That's all we're asking. Yeah. Because as we all know, Brian, you've benefited from this. I have as well. We've all lived it now, right? And if there is something out there, I will say this clearly, if there's something out there that does what we do, that invigorates men, that wakes us up to our purpose in life, and helps us to become better husbands, better fathers, if there is something out there that does that better than this, please raise your hand and tell me, because I would love to know, because then I will dedicate every resource that I have to that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there ain't none. This is it.
That's right. That's right. You got a few minutes to hang?
Yeah, man.
All right, let's I want to hear from IJ. And so Italian Job and Tommy Boy are hosts of the Stuff Worth Trying show. You can watch those across the F3 Facebook, YouTube, all those platforms. Those guys are just, stalwarts for moving the mission forward and having really cool conversations about what they're doing. And their show pops up every week, as well as being able to check in with our man Tunis Hunt, Dr. Bones with the Hunt for Wellness. Bones. And as you might have noticed at the top of this show, we're airing on Facebook, YouTube, across the Twitter sphere. Our partnership with our media friends at NGBN came to a close last week. And I explained it in a little more detail in the latest Pick Up the Six show. So, by the way, go check that out because I'd love your viewership over there.
Is he teasing you? Yes, he's teasing you. Yeah.
Well, what we will say is this, sometimes really good ideas with really good missions come along and there's alignment. And when you get into those relationships, sometimes things happen from a business standpoint that you need to pull back from. And there were some things going on inside that entity that, quite frankly, we were not comfortable with. I was not comfortable with the Pick Up the Six brand. F3 was not comfortable with. And so we made a very quick but right decision to step away. And it wasn't made in haste or with a lot of emotion, but but it was just, hey, this relationship's not going to work out for us. We've got invigorating to do of men in their communities, and let's make sure we're focusing our efforts there and rowing our boat in that direction.
Yeah, no, 100%. And obviously we wish the absolute best for Ian and for NGBN and for the things that they're trying to do. But yeah, it really came down to, look, it ain't easy to run a business, man. It's hard, and you have to make certain kinds of decisions to move things in a way that you think. And if they don't align with some of your partners, then sometimes that means it's time to wish you well. And so that's what we did. Yep.
That's right. All right. Hang with me, because we're going to listen to iJob.
I'm hanging.
Right. We're going to see what he's got to say, because he's always dropping wisdom, man. Check the guy out every morning.
The daily iJob, baby. It's out there on the Twitterverse.
Here he is, the man and the co-host of the Stuff Worth Trying show.
There's an old Cherokee man, and he told his grandson, "My son, there's a battle between two wolves inside us all. One is evil, and is anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, inferiority, lies, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, humility, kindness, empathy, and truth." The boy thought about it for a while and asked, "Grandfather, which wolf wins?" And the old man quietly replied, "The one you feed."
Oh, man. Pretty good, right?
I mean, that's kind of an old, and tried and tested, and it's always good to be reminded of that sort of that metaphor, right?
Yeah.
Look, that's nature, right?
Yeah.
That's human.
Yeah.
That's human nature. That's men.
Funny enough, today's quote worth repeato, which you'll see at the end of the show, similar-ish.
You're gonna feed the wolf.
Similar-ish. You
gotta feed the wolf.
My bro, it's good to see you, man. What else?
You as well, my friend. Yeah. Hey, you know what we ought to tell him?
What's that? You can let him know. I'm going to let him know before we wrap up, but you should tell him too.
I know,
because you can beat me to the punch.
A little.
Come on.
But Men of F3 Nation, I think that it's important for you to know that if another man hasn't told you this today, I love you. Yeah. We love you.
Bet on that.
Right?
Bet on that.
And the men in your region love you. Your Nantans love you. So let's get after it.
All right. See you, bro.
All right, bro.
Peace. He is Dark Helmet. You guys know him as the Nantan of F3 Nation. As about dedicated as you're going to get to the mission in a human individual. So always thank him for his leadership, and fun having him stop by the show, especially when my co-host is out today. So we get to yammer on a little bit. We got a couple of check-ins from East Coast Bartman before we take our first break. And then we bring in Cherry Limeade to talk about his new book, Notes from Dad. And it's got F3 men involved in it. But Bartman was on the road logging reports. Bartman, all the Bartmans in the history of F3 are great. But East Coast Bartman, loyal friend of the show, and always checking in. And here he is downrange this week.
What's up, COT? It's Bartman. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I'm doing one of my favorite things, posting downrange today. So I'm here with the men of F3 Piedmont in Huntsville, Alabama. We just got a nice cue by my man Ball Joint here.
Right.
Ball Joint is an honor or a double respect, if that's a thing in your region.
It is double respect.
Tell us what we did.
We did an alphabetical jaunt through the neighborhood, stopping at each intersection. First letter of the road was the first letter of the exercise we did.
Yep.
20 reps.
I noticed you got an engineer shirt on.
Yes.
It all checks out. Absolutely. Beautiful place here. Happy for my man Snooki over here to have given me the G2 on where to post this morning. But y'all make it a great day.
So that's a new one. The pearls on a string, stopping at the road, and whatever the street sign is, you then come up with an exercise that starts with that letter. God willing, we've removed ourselves from said intersection. We're doing those on whatever sidewalk or, embankment is nearby. I like that one. Not to be outdone by himself. Bartman checks back in a second time from the road.
What's up, fellas? Twice in a week. Here I am, F3 Dallas, doing one of my favorite things. Working out downrange. We had a great cue by Oatmeal.
Oatmeal's hogging the kill.
Was it a great cue? Woo! Yeah, it's pretty good. We rolled dice. It was okay. Sometimes we paid attention to them.
F3 craps.
Yeah, these guys have been kind enough to host me for the last couple days. We had another downrange PAX. He's over here somewhere. Limey from Charlotte. Somebody asked me yesterday, how do you find these downrange workouts? And like I said, it's one of my favorite things to do is post downrange. I'll give you 3 tools you can use to do that. One, map.f3nation.com. You go on there, there's a shovel flag at every AO. You can search it by day of week. It's great. Really easy to plan out where you want to go. Other one, f3near.me. Pull that up on your phone. It'll show you where your closest F3 workout is on that day. Really easy. It's got links you can click. Click the link, it opens your map program, drives you right there. It's awesome. And the third is in the F3 Nation Slack, there's a downrange channel. Go on the downrange channel. This is how I found the workout in Huntsville a couple weeks ago. I went to downrange channel. I actually searched for Huntsville, found a thread where some guys were talking about workouts, jumped into it, and Snooki hooked me up with a good workout to go to. So y'all make it a great day. We're doing it here in Dallas.
Woo! This episode of Stuff Worth Trying brought to you by none other than Andy Bartman Peterson of F3 Carpex. Good updates, bro. Good to see you. And he's so right. That F3near.me, the map, the downrange channel, great ways when you're on the road to get some of that. Because when you walk into the gloom, when you walk into that circle of trust, even in another region where you don't know the guys, you automatically know the guys, which is incredible. One more quick call before we take our first break, and then we get Cherry Limeade in here. Remember, you can be part of this show. We still have the COT Packs hotline up. 844-4COT Packs is the number to call. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on this show, or send us an email, cot@f3nation.com, and send video clips like that in, and we'll air them right here on the Circle of Trust. Long time, big time supporter, high energy guy. Energy's about to be cranked through the roof when our friend from Indianapolis checks in. It's none other than Motorboat.
Hello, COT Podcast. It's your boy Motorboat coming at you from F3 Indianapolis. It is a beautiful day here, and I just wanted to recap the last couple of weekends. The GTEs, the Grow Rucks have been going on. More than 100 of men have participated in 3 events. There have been some epic logs, some rain, there's some sunshine, and a lot of individual growth that will lead to some regional growth, and it has been awesome to see. And then I think about those weekends, and I think of the things that make me happy, and one of those is a bunch of men coming together to do hard things. And I look forward in the schedule, and I think, wow, I'm glad that there are so many opportunities coming up, especially at the end of this month. So, May 31st to June 2nd, Kansas City is hosting a GTE event. And let me tell you, it's going to be awesome. Why? You've got cadre coming in and trainers from 5 different states, representing, of course, 5 different regions. And not only that, you've got hacks coming in from at least 5 different states already, also representing more than 10 different regions. It's going to be awesome. If you've ever wanted to travel and get to see packs from other areas of the country, get to meet some awesome packs, this is going to be a fantastic event. I hope to see you all there. So, GTE 48 Kansas City coming up at the end of the month. Hope to see you there. And with that, I'm out.
Outstanding. All right, up on a quick break. Before that, let's introduce the man. Let's get to meet him real quick before we go to commercial. Cherry Limeade checking in from, I think the great state of Missouri, St. Charles area. Brother, good to see you. We're going to talk to you after the commercial, but tell our watchers and listeners real quick what we're going to be talking about when we come back.
We're going to be talking about a new book that is a compilation, 35 dads in all. 14 of them are F3 guys from within our region right here in St. Charles region, leaving a little bit of our legacy and sharing our stories of, quite honestly, a lot of our mistakes.
Yeah, Yeah, well said. It's called Notes from Dad. More with the F3 Circle of Trust show right after these quick commercial break.
The 5 core principles of F3 are that it's free, it's open to all men, it's held outdoors rain or shine, peer-led in a rotating fashion, and always ends in a circle of trust.
Back in the good old days, we used to have these large yellow books delivered right to our doorstep that gave us phone numbers of businesses and services that could meet our needs. The only problem is, we didn't know if we could trust any of them. Well, thanks to F3, we are connected with incredible packs in our local communities. But what we don't necessarily have is a listing of the businesses of those packs. Introducing the F3 Warrior Biz Network, where you can connect with packs in your local community or from coast to coast throughout this great nation. You can connect with other biz packs to meet your needs, or if you're a business owner, you can register your own business so that other packs know about the services that you provide. Through the Warrior Biz Network, you have reliability and you have connectivity, and you can sign up today to represent your business or to find other businesses that you can trust. Join the Warrior Biz Network today at warriorbiznetwork.com.
Welcome back to the F3 Circle of Trust. It's your boy Hello Kitty with news of the F3 Nation. Code COT at warriorbiznetwork.com. Let them know we sent you. It is a great tool, great way to connect with packs across the world, really, across the nation, that we can do some B2B together, right? Why not, man? We're in the gloom together. Why not do some business together? Before the break, we got to introduce you to Cherry Limeade out of St. Charles, Missouri. He joins the show once again. Jason Minershagen.
Real close. Minershagen.
Minershagen, not bad.
Yep.
The first time I said it, I brutalized it. So I wanted to try to
I've been called a lot worse.
Totally redeem. Oh, dude, I've gotten Jodis, Joe Dice. I got called Jaundice once. I'm like, okay, that's great. Appreciate that.
Yep.
My brother, what is, first and foremost, what's happening in the great state of Missouri today?
Oh, man, it's a little bit of overcast. It's great. It's just a great day, man. It's a great day in F3 Nation. It's a great day to be alive. Blessed.
Yeah, amen to that. Today is May the 16th, and today, available now for purchase on Amazon and all the places you can probably buy those sorts of things. Notes from Dad, encouraging dads and the fatherless generation with stories and lessons from today's dad, a compilation of 35 dads writing notes to their children. And the man who has really brought it together, authored it, but also brought it together, joins us now to talk a little bit about it. And brother, just tell me a little bit about the idea, right? Where was the want, the desire to want to do this?
Yeah, so I've been a firefighter for 28 years now, and my boys now are 15 and 17. When they were about 2 and 4 in 2011, I had a couple of close calls at work where I felt like I probably should have been seriously hurt here, if not killed. And I felt like at the time I wanted to leave a piece of who I was for them if I were to die while they were young, as opposed to like all my friends and my wife and my family telling them who their dad was. I wanted to leave that in my own words, that advice, that wisdom, those things that I would have wanted to have taught them throughout their childhood, and those things that as dads we want to impart and prepare our sons and our kids for moving into adulthood. So started a small blog, fast forward to 2019, and I actually was suffering I went through a pretty dark time with some PTSD, and worked through that a little bit. I kind of stopped writing and just kind of shut down completely from the blog. But over the course of the next couple of years, through that healing process, I began to understand and see that, hey, there's a need here for something along these lines. And it took a while for that vision to kind of come to fruition and solidify what that would look like. And I sat down to start writing the book on my own. Honestly, got overwhelmed by it, and in the process of writing everything that I wanted to write, and shared with a friend who's in the book that I was struggling with how to bring this thing to fruition. I had a pretty good start on it, but I didn't know how to finish it. And he said, well, why don't you do an anthology? I'm like, a what? I don't even know what that's called. I don't even know what an anthology is. He explained it. It's just a compilation. You just get 30, 40 other guys together. They each write a chapter, and now all you have to write is a chapter. And that's what we did. And it's been about 2 years in the making now, when I started first kind of pitching this vision to people. And now here we are. It just launched today on Amazon as an ebook for $1.99.
There it is. You can see the cover, right?
Yep.
We're looking good, right? So there it is. And go check it out. It is available now. I want to know specifically if there was a theme that the F3 men wrote about. Men, 35 contributors, 14 of those F3 guys. I want to know if there's a theme from those guys. But before that, what prerequisites, right? When you were asking people to be a part of this, right? To write and be a part of this, what requirements, what guardrails, or was it just, man, get to writing about things you'd want to leave in your legacy?
Yeah, good question. So some of the guardrails and the requirements, there were really only two. One, you had to be a dad. And then two, I wanted to make sure, because I'm a Christian, I know in F3 we talk about faith being not tied to any one religion or organization or church or denomination, but I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ, and so I didn't want to most of my circle are also Christians. Some of these guys maybe are not, but a lot of them are professing Christians. And so I didn't want to put my name on something or ask my friends and my contacts to put their name on something as a co-author that contradicted scripture. So that was the one guardrail that I gave guys. Other than that, it was pretty much free choice. Like we each have our own story and our own experience and our own writing style and passion and heart to pour into our kids in different ways. And so I really just told the dads, like, you can write to your kids, you can write to fatherless kids that are out there in the world, you can write to your dad and pour back into him. You can write to your future self, you can write to dads that are maybe new and just starting out, and what lessons can they glean from your experience and your mistakes or your failures. I don't like using the word failures or even mistakes, because
data points, right? Data points,
yeah,
right? Data points,
exactly. Because as long as we get back up and we keep trying, this
right.
It's not really a failure. We're learning from it. So
that's right.
So yeah, it was pretty much just kind of free reign for them to do that. And so of the 35 authors, 14 of them are F3 guys right here in the St. Charles County area, which is just west of St. Louis, for you guys that are listening that might not know. So we're in the St. Louis Gateway mega region. 14 of those guys, and there's not really a common theme among any of them, because I gave them that free reign to kind of take it whatever direction that they wanted to. 2 of the chapters of the 35 that really resonated with me as I was reading this thing pre-print and signing off on chapters before we actually went to final publication, really just touched me emotionally. I still remember sitting here reading one of them, Teams. If you're out there listening, man, his chapter, boom, nailed it. Like he shared with me a couple months ago, or probably a year ago, early on in the process. He's like, hey, I don't know if what I have is going to be good for a book, but what I did was I wrote each of my kids a letter when they turned 18, and I gave it to them when they turned 18. Would you read that and let me know what you think? I'm like,
and
yeah,
he had those, it was already done, right? Because his kids were older too.
Yeah. He kind of customed it for each of the 4 kids, and he's still got one at home now.
That's a great idea.
So I read that chapter, and I'm sitting in my living room and on a Tuesday night in the middle of the week, just a random night, reading through this thing on my phone. My wife's sitting next to me, and dude, I just lost it. Like, I'm just crying, man. Just completely lost it. Like, my dad is 78 now. We have a pretty good relationship. But he wasn't as, I don't remember him being as actively engaged when I was growing up, because he was busy working, right? He's providing for 4 kids and a family, and you can't provide and be in presence with them at the same time. You got to choose one or the other. And so when I read Teams's chapter, man, I'm like, dude, like that's the affirmation and the acknowledgement of a boy moving into manhood that I don't feel like I got. Like, if I'd have got that when I turned 18, man, I can't even imagine the way and the trajectory of my life, having changed.
Yeah, Lyman, I think there's a valuable lesson in there about if you thought about doing something and wanted to do something for your kids like that, do it. Right. So if you're like, man, I would love to sit down and write a letter to all my kids when they turn 18, do it. Take an hour, right? Depending on how many kids you have. Some of you guys got mega huge family, may take it a little bit longer, but just do those things. My wife and I, I think one of the greatest things we did was when she was pregnant twice, we wrote little journal entries to the kid. They weren't even born yet. Right. And you go back and read them, and they're beautiful, right? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We stole that idea from my parents, because they gave me that. Right. And then we'll give, right. And we give that to those kids. This is yours.
Absolutely. With technology nowadays, I've heard stories of guys that are, when their kids are born, they're opening up an email account for them.
So, like, and then you dump a bunch of, right. Then you give them access to that later, and they can find all these emails.
Yeah. You just imagine turning 18 and seeing that, 18 years of your life, just boom, how many emails?
Or just little stuff, man. Maybe just write a little note and slip it into their lunch. Just little, these are the things. They'll remember these things far more than a lot of the other things that sometimes we force ourselves to try to have to do. Brother, before we let you go, just takeaways, right, from being done with this to now it's available to purchase. Just a little reflection on seeing this thing come to fruition, and maybe just maybe just a word of thanks, if you could, to the 35 who authored up and helped you out.
Yeah, I will say this. I was thinking right before I share that part of it. This book will actually have the last chapter. If you're familiar with Blake Brewer and the Legacy Letter Challenge, he's been around for about 10 years. You can go to legacyletterchallenge.com, I think, to kind of learn about what he's doing in his story. But there will be an opportunity in the book at the last chapter for you to leave your own chapter, to write your own note to your own kids, and it gives you instructions on what that can look like. But then it gives you a space to kind of personalize that. Back to your question, man. I'm just today's been overwhelming. We launched this morning at 6, and I just found out about an hour and a half ago that we've already hit bestseller status in like 15 categories, and still climbing the ranks.
Get out of here!
No, I'm telling you, dude, still climbing. So it's not quite number 1 yet. We're still looking for that.
Let's show it to them so they can see it, right? So if you guys are watching in real time, right, to the dozens and scores of you watching in real time, go to Amazon Notes from Dad. Go check that out. And then if you're listening to us on replay or watching on replay, you can go grab it. I mean, let's support this thing. It's outstanding.
Yeah. So I'm humbled. I will shout out the thanks. So the 14 guys, but really all 34 of the other guys that wrote a chapter along with me. They poured out their hearts and their souls. They shared stories of their experience in combat, serving in our nation's military. They shared stories of overcoming abusive and neglective fathers and childhoods, and finding forgiveness and grace and restoring those relationships, and how to traverse the hills and the valleys of life that really, I think, is just so important into calling us. When we talk about calling us into be leaders in F3 and in our community, that's one of the things that we're passionate about doing, right? Is calling men into leadership. Yeah. And I think that's what this book is going to help do. Man, outstanding. Brother, great to have you on. I'm so glad Ralph, shout out Ralph for getting us connected and saying, man, you got to talk about this. You're 100% right. I can't wait to read through this and read about the legacy that these men are leaving for their own kids, or to your point, man, for other ones that might pick this thing up. And guys, if you've been thinking about writing a letter or getting a journal going or sending creating that, do these things. These are the things they'll remember. Absolutely. Time is short. That's right. Good to see you, bro. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. All right, man. Peace out. Peace. That is Cherry Limeade checking in from St. Charles, Missouri. The new book out today, Notes from Dad, encouraging dads and a father's generation with stories and lessons from today's dads. 35 dads writing, 14 of those F3 men. And it is that leave right. Right, guys? We want to get right, take care of ourselves and our families. We want to live right. We want to lead in that community right. But ultimately, we're here to leave right. Right? We're here to build a kingdom. We're here to leave right. And so great work by him to get all those men together and to make that thing happen. We've got more coming up on the show, but a quick word from the folks that help make what we do here possible. I'll be right back.
Welcome to F3, Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith, where men come together for something more than just a workout. Our core principles define us: free of charge, open to all men, held outdoors, peer-led, and end in a circle of trust. Whether you want to run, lift heavy things, or focus on bodyweight exercises, F3 has over 4,000 workouts available worldwide. Join us, experience the camaraderie, the challenge, and the transformation of F3, where men can get right so that they can lead right.
Hi, Joel Maurer, founder of Dink Ninjas. Dink Ninjas was dreamed up and started right here in Austin, Texas, a dynamic pickleball community. We arm pickleballers with the paddles, apparel, and accessories to dink like a ninja. Dink Ninjas is dedicated to supporting mental health awareness and cancer research. Shop our full lineup at dinkninjas.com.
Are you searching for connection? Do you struggle with loneliness? There is hope. We are F3, Fitness, Fellowship, Faith. Our mission is to plant, grow, and serve small workout groups for men for the invigoration of male community leadership. We have 5 core principles.
Free of charge, open to all men, held outdoors, rain or shine. Peer led, and it ends in a circle of trust.
Go to f3nation.com.
Welcome back to the F3 Circle of Trust. It's your boy Hello Kitty checking in with news of the F3 Nation. Before the break, we had Cherry Limeade on live from St. Charles, Missouri. His new book out, Notes from Dad. Really incredible stuff. Loved having him on. We've also heard from Dark Helmet today. Big show. A lot of fun. All right, before we get to the hunt for wellness and the always coveted, never duplicated quote worth repeato, I got to show you what the boys of F3 Aggieland were up to. All right, this is why we do what we do. And this is the goofy why we do what we do. This is why we can't take ourselves too seriously. This is why what we do here is really sort of recess for adult males. Look at what these guys are up to. Just check this out. They're literally working out in a splash pad. In whatever local park they're in, they're getting after it on this splash pad. And then they do COT in it. Oh my gosh, outstanding. I mean, what's better than that? Just some grown-up adults with mortgages and bills and jobs and families and all of those things doing some exercise in a splash pad at 5:30 in the morning. Outstanding. All right, here's our man Bones with your weekly hunt for wellness tip. And look, a lot of you guys probably travel. And when you do, one of the issues with traveling is, man, I got to get something nutritious. I'm on the road, but in the airport, wow, what do we do? What do we do when we're in the airport? So Bones has you covered.
It's another great day for wellness. This is Bones with a health tip for the PAX of F3 Nation. And today we're discussing strategies to stay healthy when traveling in an airport. One of the most difficult things for health-conscious people to navigate is how to maintain healthy eating while traveling. And no other place provides more of a challenge than airports. Airports are unique in that they restrict what you can bring in, offer limited options, and charge you double the money. So what should a health-conscious PAX eat while traveling in an airport? Well, the simple answer is nothing. I know that this may not be the answer you were hoping for, but it is certainly the healthiest. Unfortunately, airports are loaded with food options that are processed, fried, and saturated with vegetable oils. In addition, most are prepackaged and frozen and contains tons of sugars and preservatives. In other words, most health-conscious people wouldn't eat this food outside the airport, so why eat it just because it is the only thing offered? Let's be honest, most people spend 5 hours or less traveling by plane, including the time in the airport. If you eat something healthy before going to the airport, then you should be able to go at least 5 hours without the need to eat again. It's called fasting, and many PAX already do it for up to 16 hours per day. Now, I understand that there are special circumstances where eating during travel would be necessary, and having a strategy in place would be advantageous. The best strategy would be to plan and simply bring something with you. Even if it's a small snack to tie you over, it is better than falling prey to the limitations of airport food. If you do find yourself in need of food and you must purchase something, then I would recommend fruit, a healthy protein bar, or the purest form of red meat possible. Be wary of salads, as most contain a variety of non-healthy ingredients and nothing is healthy about the dressing. So PAX, don't let traveling get in the way of accelerating your queen. Have a plan, pack a healthy snack, and save some precious cash by avoiding the food court at the airport. Kitty and Repeato, what are your healthy go-tos when you travel? Keep up the good work, man. This has been Bones guiding the PAX of F3 Nation on their hunt for wellness. Gotta go.
This has been the COT Podcast, connecting the PAX of F3 Nation to something bigger than themselves. Please rate and review our show. Follow us on Twitter at F3COT Podcast and connect with the show at COT@F3Nation.com or by leaving us a voicemail at 844 4 COT packs. I'm Brian Jodas, 42, Hello Kitty.
And I'm Jamie Roseborough, 40, Pepita.
And this has been the Circle of Trust podcast.